And I had a flashback in my head that went right back to Northwest Guilford last year. And I said, "Oh, Jake, you gotta hit this one." You know, stinks the shot, finishes the game. It was just awesome. And that was kind of it. We talked to those guys from after that game. You know, when you play with energy and when you're having fun out there, this team can play with anybody in the state.
My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. The code that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. They sending all my homies on a mission. And I ain't tryna miss out on any deal, yeah. Girl I want, ain't the girl I want. She want me to say today, but I ain't okay. She wanna see me every day, she wanna be my baby. That money make me feel the cake. All the I need some toilet paper. My play on losing, we gon' be okay. On a real nigga, we gon' cooperate. But for that, they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. The code that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. They sending
Any words, any last, one word that sums this team up by definition?
Family. Yeah. And you know, just like any family, there's days when you're mad at each other. There's days when you yell and scream at each other. You know, but when you bring it in, team huddle to leave for the day, leave after that for the game. You all know you love each other.
They miss when you was in that Yoda kicking doors. But for that, they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. The code that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision. Right now, I gotta keep a ton of vision. They sending all my homies on a mission. And I ain't tryna miss out on any millions.
Okay. What a year.
What a year.
Second year.
Yeah.
So how's it feel after having 1 year under your belt to finish your second? What feels different?
I think the biggest difference is probably the expectation. The guys know, I think, what to expect from me, and I know a lot more about what to expect from our players. And anytime you come into your first year, I think it's just tough because you got to learn about 60 new kids, and they have to learn about a new coach and his style and his attitude. And once you get your first year underneath your belt, that just seems a lot easier. And I'm so proud of the guys and where they've come in just 2 short years. You know, that's a testament to the kids. That's not me. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great 2 years. Great 2 years.
Well, I mean, the year started off with a lot of adversity with you and your personal situation with health and so forth, and then so why don't you touch on that just for a second, because it's been a challenging year for you personally.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You go back and look at this past 9 months of my life. These have been the hardest. That's been the hardest chapter of my life, and for Maddie too. But then you think about that. The flip side of that is when something like this happens, you also learn a lot of other things about your life that maybe you didn't focus on so much, and just how blessed Maddie and I are to have the people in our lives that are around us and support us during this is it's overwhelmingly humbling. And the role that this lacrosse team has played in that support structure for me is I told the guys at the end of the Lake Norman game that in 10 years from now I won't remember some of the scores of those big games, but I'll remember every single one of those kids. What we've gone through this as a team together is I told the guys maybe we didn't win the state championship, but we won the season, and I really believe that.
No, I think your kids believe that. Talk about the assistant coaches, because this year was different. You know, we started off with a whole different system, not only in your second year, but you start off with a whole complete different staff. So touch on that, because those guys seem to obviously have an effect on the team.
Yeah, just an awesome staff we had come together for this season, and just I think we all bring something different to the group. I mean, Coach Carey brings just a ton of knowledge about defense. That definitely wasn't there last year when I was trying to run the defense. He's also a parent, which none of the other coaches are on the staff, so he brings kind of that parent side of things too, I think, to the players. It's just such a good role model for these guys. And then, you know, you got Porter and Palmer, who are like, I don't know, just two knuckleheads, but just bring so much young energy and enthusiasm to the team, to the practices. You know, like I can't tell you how many times I looked over at a group of guys during sideline and practice, and they're just sitting there cracking up with Coach Palmer, you know, and Coach Porter, and I just think that's good energy for our team. And the way we could talk with each other and work with each other on the staff, I think we truly trusted each other. So if they had an opinion, they knew they could come to me and talk to me about it, even in the middle of the game. You know, maybe we should run this, and you know, we trusted each other to do that. So that's fun. That just makes things a lot of fun. And then on the JV side of things, with Coach Sampson coming back to coach for Myers Park is great, because he coached all those guys in middle school, and to have him come back is awesome, and he's just such a good guy for the kids to be around. And then Coach Hammer, he came up after the JV season and spent time with the varsity guys, and which was great because he has just so much insight about the game. Definitely looks at it in a different way than I do, and it's great when you can have more opinions like that. So we're just, it's great to have just an outstanding staff. It certainly makes my job a lot easier.
Okay, so let's talk about the senior class. It's a pretty proficient senior class that you had this year. Can you touch on them and just what they meant to the season?
Yeah, the senior class this year was just, I mean, they're an outstanding group of young men. I think last year's senior class did a really great job of raising the bar for this program. And coming into this season, I think this senior class took that very seriously and have raised the bar even another notch higher. So now there's a new expectation at Myers Park Lacrosse because of these seniors. And as a coach and, the entire coaching staff, you can't ask much more of your seniors. And I know it makes me really proud, and I know it makes the other assistant coaches really, really proud to have a group of guys like that. Another thing about the senior class, every single one of those guys is going to college. And that's amazing. You don't see that at a ton of programs. And I'm excited to see where life takes these guys, and catch up with them and 10 years down the road, because I know they're going to be great at whatever they choose to do. They'll be great family guys if that's something they want to do too. So it'll be exciting to know where these guys are at, because I know it's going to just all be great things.
That's good. I mean, those guys were they're good kids. Let's talk about the season as a whole. I mean, you look back and I know as a coach, a lot of times you don't point out something, but I mean, this year we had some monuments during the season. Is there any one win this year that just sticks out where it just was something that you just were special for you?
Yeah, I guess it's probably the obvious ones, but the Country Day win and the Catholic win. Those were awesome. I think somebody told me that Country Day win was the first time Irish Park has ever beaten that program.
I believe so.
That's awesome. Funny story about that Country Day game. It goes into overtime. We draw up our play. Trevor Kelly, we're in a 1-4-1. Trevor Kelly dodges from up top. First look is to shoot it. Second look was a pick for our lefty attackman. He makes the third look to the backside. Jack Dickinson is on the doorstep, one-on-one with the goalie, and I had a flashback in my head that went right back to Northwest Guilford last year, and I said, "Oh, Jack, you gotta hit this one." Stings the shot, finishes the game, and it was just awesome, and just great for Jack to have an opportunity to come back and be right, like in that same position and finish it. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a pretty special game for all the kids.
And then the Catholic game, just the amount of energy we played with in that game was awesome, and the amount of fun they played with in that game was just so cool to see as a coach. And that was kind of it. We talked to those guys from after that game. When you play with energy and when you're having fun out there, this team can play with anybody in the state, and they showed that. So those were awesome victories.
Yeah, they were good games. They really were. What do you look back on and say, hey, I'm proud of this team for this reason?
This team, I don't have the words. I don't think they exist in language for what these guys have meant to me. I remember, telling Maddie I would come out of chemo and I'd throw up in the parking garage because you don't feel great after those treatments. And then in my head, just thinking, I gotta get to practice. Just gotta get to practice. So I could laugh with those guys. So I could cry with those guys, and they saw their coach cry multiple times this year. But yeah, just so I could at the end of the day, and I mean this in the best way possible, but they're just 40 idiots. Again, in the best way possible, and when you get around those guys, and the energy that they gave me when I wasn't feeling great was just, that's, I don't know, the team, they took care of their coach when they needed to, and I guess that's what that just makes me really proud.
That's the definition of a team, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. This team is really, it looks like a team when it plays. There's no one kid to me that sticks out overall. But If you had to pick one, if you had to pick a kid that just seems to bring it every time, who would that be?
Number 23, William Barnes. And it's a great lacrosse player, an exceptional one, but not the best. But it's his attitude, it's his enthusiasm, it's his leadership. It's all the intangibles is where he excels at. And it helps that he's like the fastest guy on the field when he's out there, so that's good. But he's I mean, he plays with his heart on his sleeve, a lot of emotion. A couple penalties I wish we could get back that Barnes gave us, but if he got a penalty, he was going 110% when he got it. So, but yeah, he was a fun kid to coach.
He is a special kid. Any words? Any last one word that sums this team up by definition?
Family. Yeah. And just like any family, there's days when you're mad at each other. There's days when you yell and scream at each other. But when you bring it in, team huddle to leave for the day, leave after night after the game, you all know you love each other. And that's, I thought we were family this year.
Special group.
Yeah.
You got 90% of the kids coming back. What's the one word you would say, or the last thing you would say to those kids before you see them again in the fall?
That's a great question. It's a new year. It's a new team. And just because we had some big wins this past season, going in to our next season, we haven't earned anything yet. So you gotta earn it.
Right. Start from the beginning.
Yep.
So anything you want to leave on?
Anybody who knows me well has had a conversation with me about team sports. I love team sports. Everything, I think any success I've had in life, I can probably walk that back to something I learned through team sports. And this year, this team, it became so much more than just lacrosse. Lacrosse was just like the byproduct that we all got to enjoy and watch because of a great team. And the impact that this team has had on my life, and I hope myself as a coach and the other assistant coaches, we've had some impact on these young men's lives, and I think we all walk out of this season better people, and that's it. That's just what it is. It's awesome.
Can't end any better than that.
Yeah.
I give free lessons on how to give timeouts, though. I do that. So
Yeah.
going forward, if you need some lessons on when to give a timeout or even when to call it,
You're my
maybe
guy.
I can announce it over the loudspeaker going forward. That might work.
That's great.
All right. Thanks, Ben.